Greetings, tax tip lovers, and welcome to this week's top 5 tax fixes in just 5 minutes. We're gathered together to talk about inheritance tax, that's IHT, and this week I'm going to tell you how married couples can shelter more than £3 million from IHT, and all of it entirely within all of HMRC's rules and regulations. Now, you need to choose your future, or HMRC will do it for you. And all the evidence suggests they've become more mean and nasty with a hostile process for just about everything. So take control. Don't leave a mess for your kids. Make your will and review it regularly, because IHT is not one and done. It's complex, and we can get you where you need to go in 200 pages. But I'm going to sum up what's important in the next 4 minutes as we take £3 million outside of IHT for you. Okay, here we go. Time to throw the saddle on the gift horse. So let's count down the top 5 solutions. New in it this week's number 5 is HMRC's meaningless allowances. You can give away £3,000 a year tax-free. Big deal, but both spouses can do it, so that's £6,000. Well, that hasn't changed since 1981, which by an extraordinary coincidence is the last time my lockdown-induced haircut was actually fashionable. Gifts you make to political parties and charities are tax-free, and yeah, okay, maybe one of those two has value. You can both give £250 every year to everyone you know, and please send ours to one of the charities in the last point. Gifts in consideration of marriage are tax-free, but that has limits, and those are much less than the cost of a divorce a few years later. So that's £6,500. Wonderful and marvellous. Down at this week's number 4, we have a classic called nil rate bans. IHT is levied on the entire value of your estate at the time of death, less some exemptions, the most important of which is the nil rate band, which is currently £325,000. Your spouse has the same exemption of £325,000, so used properly, that's £650,000 outside of IHT. Now, you do need to know that you can use that exemption every 7 years during your lifetime, which means that under current legislation, you and your spouse can give away £650,000 every 7 years tax-free. Just inside this week's top 3 is residence nil rate bans. This one was designed by the Tories to encourage Tory voters, and it's actually very useful. It provides an additional exemption of up to £175,000 for each spouse on qualifying property, which means the family home. So that's another £350,000. A new entry at this week's number 2 is pension planning, but not as you know it. There's only one reason to put money into a pension, and that's to save tax. Effectively, the taxman pays up to 40% of your contributions. There's no capital gains tax, that's CGT, and the whole fund, when properly written in trust, should be outside of your estate for IHT. And here's the thing. Pension pots of up to £1,073,100 can be inherited tax-free by your family members. Staying at number 1 for the 3rd week running is the one called Too Good to Be True. Well, if you like the last one, you'll love this one, because both spouses can have pension pots of up to £1,073,100, and it can all go to your kids tax-free. So for those of you that have been keeping the score, that means £3,152,700 is outside the scope of IHT, and it could be a whole lot more, because not all pension funds are subject to money purchase annual allowance rules. Now that's techie speak for you really need to talk to our retirement experts, and you'll likely be very glad you did, because there's a whole lot more where this came from, and particularly for property owners. Okay, tax tippers, that's it. And I'm guessing you've heard enough in 5 minutes to know you need to review your IHT planning. Well, that's easy to do, and here's how. You've got two options. The first is to take action to fix it right now. And the second, well, continue to hope, but hope's not a strategy and will likely not be effective. You can do nothing and stay in the exact same place and pay a shed load of inheritance tax, or you can follow the link above for a free IHT review by tax experts who are ex-PwC and ex-HMRC, and will make your tax planning like it was our own. And that was IHT and how to legally shelter more than £3.1 million from the taxman, tax tip lovers. All right, stay bright. Catch you again for breakfast next Sunday. Ta-ra!